Alright, hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Thank you to all the viewers for joining us in this program this afternoon. I'm Dr. Yusnita Mat Yunus, SISC Plus Bahasa from Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kuala Terengganu. Alright. So it's my pleasure to be the moderator for this session on the preparation for the CEFR Readiness Test report writing, sharing of knowledge and experience. So first of all, let me introduce to our guest today. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay guys, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce to our guest today. Our guest speaker is Tuan Haji Samsul Amir Ismail bin Haji Mahmud. Currently, he is an SISC Plus for Science Social from Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kuala Terengganu. Formerly, he was an SISC Plus for English language subject. There are, of course, 1001 reasons to have him with us today. And one of them is that he has a number of years of experience pertaining to the Malaysian University English Test, MUET, right? Okay, so our next guest is our facilitator, Puan Mok Mee Yoke, from Form 6 teachers from Pusat Tingkatan Enam, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sultan Sulaiman, Kuala Terengganu. When talking about MUET, she is always the right person to turn to. Her knowledge and experience in teaching MUET are unquestionable. Okay, she has been with this MUET since 1999. Wow. So okay, so dear viewer, we are honored to have these two special guests with us to listen to them. Okay, hopefully. Of course, they will share with us the tips and tricks, what do's and don'ts for this paper, so that we can pass with flying colors, inshallah. Okay. And oh yeah, if you have anything to ask, you can always type your questions in the chat box. We will do our best to attend to your questions. Okay. All right. All right, a little bit about introduction. I'm the moderator for today's sessions. I'm a SISC Plus Bahasa from Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Terengganu, and I am Dr. Yusnita binti Mat Yunus. Okay, and this is Tuan Haji Samsul Amir, Ismail bin Haji Mahmud, and this is Puan Mok Mee Yoke. See, a very beautiful lady. Okay, so before we start, let's have a glance, okay, on what is CEFR, okay? Okay, so I believe that everybody knows Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim. She is Education Director General, Ministry of Education, and she talked about funds for English teachers to sit for CEFR test. So I just want to take your attention to these particular articles on STARS, dated November 2020. All right, so the one that I highlight, okay, the aim of the test, she said, is to ensure the standard of proficiency in the English language among English option teachers, okay? So the newspaper quoted that she said that we want our English language teachers to have a CEFR C1 qualification in the language. So between 2010 and 2019, only 50% of English option teachers took some form of test to assess their proficiency in the language. So we encourage more teachers to take tests that are available so that we know where they stand. This will allow us to help them. Right? This is just to help teachers out there, right? Okay, so here, teachers can even use the Malaysian University English Test, MUET materials to prepare themselves for the CEFR Readiness Test, especially since MUET is aligned with CEFR. Okay, that's why we have these two special guests with us to help us to understand and, yeah, like I said, the tips and tricks and the do's and the don'ts, okay? All right, so that we can achieve success in our test paper later. All right, okay. So now I'm gonna invite our facilitator, Puan Mok Mee Yoke, to share with us the knowledge, the experience that she has. All right, okay. Let's see, I'm gonna share. All right, we have, okay, Mok with us, okay. All right. So I would like to invite Madam Mok. Over to you, Madam Mok.
Okay, all right. Can everyone hear me actually clearly? Yeah, all right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Yusnita, for inviting me to talk to you about the MUET paper. Well, I heard that the writing paper for the CFR, it's actually very similar to that of MUET. So today I would just like to share with you what the MUET reports would look like. And basically, I would go through with you the overall format or the shape of the report. And I would also share with you the important elements to be included and the details of the elements using 3 past year questions. Okay, and then we would be working on one of them, that is the tiger population. I believe you have all received the soft copy of the worksheet probably yesterday in your emails. So I hope you would refer to that question later when we come to our proper workshop, like, as in you writing the report yourself. Okay, and what I'm going to do is actually a step-by-step guide to all the elements, work through the one of the questions, and I would also like to show you some of the common errors to avoid, in the writing of the MUET reports, And at the end, towards the end of this session, we would be writing sort of, because I've already shared the template, and you would be just basically trying out the report on your own. You're not writing the whole report, but just inserting words, Okay. Now let's look at the overall shape of the report. Okay, this is how the report looks like. The writing may be very small, don't worry, please. So I would just like you to look at the overall shape of the report. Yeah. Next. Right. Hang on. You are going to see. Right. I've already labeled them. Basically, for the report, you need a title. Although the title is actually not counted in the word count. Remember, you have to write a 150 to 200 word report, but the title will not be counted. But nonetheless, you still need to include the title. Okay, so you would have the title, and you notice that basically you can actually write in 3 paragraphs. And the first paragraph is the introductory paragraph, in which you would need to introduce the visual as well as to introduce the overview. Okay, the overview is actually the relationship between the visuals, all right? And then in the body, you are expected to analyze and synthesize information, And then in the end, you would have a conclusion. And for your information, your conclusion can actually be a repeat of your overview, all right? Now, next. Let's begin with preparing to write. Now, when you write, what you need is, of course, basically the subject. Yeah, you need the subject. Hang on. Okay. And you need the trend words. You need the data. You need the time frame. And of course, you need linkers. All right, meaning what is the linker for? That is when you synthesize information between one visual and another. You're supposed to show relationships between the data. So that's when you need to use the linkers. So please bear in mind, these are the things that you need: your subject. Be very sure of your subject. You need your trend words. You need the data, as in probably you may have numbers, you may have percentage, you may have amount of money, or some weight or something like that. And you may have the time frame. Definitely you would have either year or month, or a block of 5 years or 2 years, and you'll see when you see the question. Okay, next, let's look at one sample of a past year question. Okay, this one. Now, you would notice that first you need to determine the subject. Okay. Now, where is the subject? The subject is actually the number of travelers. You can actually determine the subject by looking at the axis, the y-axis. Okay. That's the number of travelers. That is the subject. And in figure 1, you could also see a repeat. It's the number of travelers. So you're talking about the number of travelers. And in figure 2, you're talking about the air travelers' rating of satisfaction. So that will be the subjects, Okay. And then you have the time frame. So you may, please be careful, you may have a graph, and you may have two graphs here. Like for this example, is you have two graphs. Figure 1 has got a range of 6 years there, whereas figure 2 has only 1 year. So you have to be very careful when you analyze information. You have to find the common year in order for you to link. All right. Then the next thing will be the data. Now, be very careful. You look at the data. At one glance, it would mean that there are 800 travelers, right? 800, but actually, it's not 800, but 800,000. All right, it's 800,000 because you look at the axis, it says number of travelers in thousands. Okay, in fact, when this question was asked, many candidates actually did not realize that, and they actually use the raw number as in 800, 600, and they got everything wrong. So if your data is wrong, your whole report is off, yeah? Okay, so you have the data. Now for figure 2, you still have the data. It's in percentage now, okay, 65%. And you notice that you can actually use the symbol percent, yeah? You don't have to spell out percent as in PERCENT. You don't need that. You can actually use symbols. So if it's in kg, you can use the symbol kg, yeah? Hectare, you can use H, yeah? So you can actually use the symbol. All right, the next thing would be the trend words. Okay, what are the trend words? You have if you see an increase, so you would use the word increase, right? Of course, you would have the word like decrease and so on, yeah? Okay. Next is the link. When we say link, that means you have to synthesize information. Now, let's look at one example. The one on, okay, I give you this example on Swift Air. Okay, you look at the line graph. For Swift Air, in 2008, you notice that in comparison with the other 3 airlines, the number of travelers for Swift Air was the lowest in 2008, right? And when you synthesize the information and you ask why, to answer why, you would now link to the answer in figure 2. So you look at the percentage, okay, for service, for punctuality, and for safety. The percentages were the lowest, right? So you can actually use a linker like because of, meaning the number of travelers traveling on Swift Air was the lowest in 2008 because of these 3 reasons, the lowest percentage in these 3 particular features. So that is one link. Okay, let's look at the one on Air Eagle. Okay, for Air Eagle, the difference is now is the highest, right? The number is not Air Eagle being the highest, but the number of travelers being the highest. Again, the link is, if you look at the percentage of satisfaction, it's basically 100% for price, 100% for punctuality, and 95%, which is very high for safety. Again, you can use the same linker that is the highest because of the percentage, the high percentage or the highest percentage of a satisfaction rating. So this is called link, meaning to say you use particular linkers like because of, due to, despite, and so on, yeah? All right. Next. In the next visual, okay, this is another question. It's about the number of visitors to 3 zoos. And you notice now, instead of another graph, you will have a table. So you have figure 1, which is a bar graph, and table 1, which is a table containing the promotional activities carried out by the zoos. Okay, now observe that the subject is still the number of visitors. All right, we are looking at the, if you look at the axis, perhaps You may be wondering why the word is visitor. In actual fact, it should have been number of visitors. So you look at the title for figure 1 is number of visitors. So we are quite sure that that is the subject of this report. Yeah, we're looking at the number of visitors. Okay, and then for table 1, the subject is the promotional activities, and you notice that you have a list of 7, right? 7 activities. All right, and that is actually called the data as well. So please remember that when you say data, it can actually mean the number of percentage in the bar graph, in the graph, as well as the features or the activities or features given in the table. Those are actually data. All right, and for the time frame, again, you look at figure 1. The time frame actually has a list of years. So you have 5 years there. So you notice there are 5 bars for each zoo, which represent 1 year each. Whereas for table 1, the information or the promotional activities were carried out only in 2015. So now you have to be very careful when you link. Yeah? Now let's look at the data first. Yeah? For data, for figure 1, it's easy to see because the data is already stated. It's 350,000. Okay, it's given. And then for table, you notice that I've actually placed inverted commas. You notice the inverted commas in the activity column. Yeah? So I'll tell you why I put inverted commas there later. All right. Now, so that is also data. So you have data in numbers and you have data in words. Okay. So you have. Okay. The next thing is the activities. Okay, please look at table 1 again. Now, I mentioned just now, you can actually mention the activities like live animal performances or discount for senior citizens, where you can actually write these activities or mention these activities in your report. But at the same time, you can also count the number of activities. Okay, it so happened that for this question, you notice that all 3 zoos have the same number of activities. They may not be the same activities, but you have the same number, meaning each zoo has 3 activities. Yeah? Okay. Now the trend words. I've not given you the trend words, but I've given you the arrows. You look at the pink arrows. So basically you look at the word decrease for animal farm, animal town. So it's the number of visitors decrease. For nature's pet, it's increase, so that will be your trend word, increase. For four-legged farm, you would have remain unchanged. Yeah, and the triangle there at the top, 59,000, that would be the highest number. So that is another trend word, highest number. And for animal town, the upside down triangle, then the trend word would be lowest number. Okay, so these are all the trend words that you can use. Yeah? Okay, what about the link? All right, for link. Now, because the only common year is 2015, therefore you would actually link only information in 2015 from figure 1 to that of table 1. So you would say that Animal Town, or the number of visitors to Animal Town, was the lowest. Possibly, is it because of? Are you using the word because of, or is it despite? actually is despite. Why do you use despite and not because of? Now, if you look at the activities, they are all actually very interesting activities, right? And activities are supposed to draw visitors, yeah, to draw more visitors. However, you look at Animal Town, despite having three activities for 2015, the number of visitors was the lowest compared to the other zoos. So you can actually use this linker and say despite. Whereas for animal pets, you cannot say despite because you notice that the number of visitors for 2015 was the highest. So you can now use the linker because of. So that's when you link, all right? But for four-legged farm, it would be illogical to say because of or despite. So in order for you to link, you can just mention the due to these activities, okay? Or not because you have more or fewer, because you just have the activities. All right. The next question, this is much simpler. Why do I say it's much simpler? Because the subject is very clear. Okay, let's see where the subject is. The subject is amount of sales. Now we are no longer talking about number, yeah, because it's in currency, it's money. So it's the amount of sales. Okay, not the amount of money, but your subject will be the amount of sales of Malaysian online stores. And you have two stores. Okay, look at the, please look at the legend, 21 Street and La Zomba. Okay, please be very careful. For those of you who are into online shopping, it's 21 Street and not 11 Street, okay? Because I'm telling you this because there were many candidates who actually were so careless. They just sort of wrote 11 Street instead of 21. And of course, La Zomba became Lazada. And it's not Lazada. So if you write Lazada, it's going to be the end of your report. That means you would have made a lot of mistakes. Huh? You have not given the right information. So you have two online stores there, 21 Street and La Zomba, and against a table. And look at the time frame. 2 years only, yeah, 2015 and 2016. And if you look at the table, the years are exactly the same. So we're very happy now that you can actually link the 2 years. So both years are common in both the visuals as compared to the previous two questions where you have different number of years. Whereas this one, you have the same, exactly the same year. So the link is much easier. Okay, from the subject, you have the time frame, and then the next thing would be your data. It's very clear. Please remember, it's given 50,000 ringgit. So please don't use about 50,000 ringgit or almost 50,000 ringgit because it's exactly 50,000 ringgit. So please don't use about if the labels are actually clear. Unless you get a line graph where the data is not stated, then possibly you can say about 50,000 ringgit, but this is exactly 50,000 ringgit. So that's the data. And for the strategy, you notice you also have a list of strategies there in many words. So you notice that you have allows payment via credit cards. That will be like 5 words. Okay, that's why I recommend that you put inverted commas. Remember, I showed you the inverted commas just now. So if you put inverted commas, that will be 1 word. All right. So you have to mention some of these strategies in your report. Okay, that's why you have to be very economical when writing. Okay, so that will be the data from figure 1, that is in money form, in currency, Malaysian currency. And for the table, it's the strategy. But again, you look at the dots now, no longer ticks, but you see dots, okay? So you still have the number of strategies, okay? Now, for trend words, of course, it's very easy to see. For 21 Street, 50,000 ringgit in 2015 and 50,000 ringgit in 2016, which means that the trend word would be remain unchanged. Please don't say remain constant, yeah, because the word constant is meant for a line graph. So this is a bar graph, so you say remain unchanged or remain the same. And for La Zomba, it's clear that the trend would be increase, right? Meaning the amount of sales increased from 70,000 in 2015 to 140,000 in 2016. You can also use the word double because 70 times 2 is 140, right? So double, that would be another trend word which is acceptable. Now, if you look at table 1, you can also analyze information in the table itself. Okay, when you look at 21 Street for 2015 and 2016, you notice that the online store employed the same strategy. So using the word the same, that would be analysis. That is considered as a trend word. Okay, so the online store had used the same strategies. It's not the same number, of course, but exactly the same type, right? So you can use the same as a trend word. And for La Zomba, you can actually say the online store use more strategies in 2016. So the word more, it's also a trend word that is acceptable. So you notice that there are actually a lot, yeah. And you have other words like most, the least, yeah, and so on. You would know that, English teachers, you would know that. Okay, for the link, how do you link? So it's easy to link 21 Street because the sales did not change, right? The sales remain the same, basically because the number of strategies or the type of strategies employed were the same. Okay, that's the link. And for the other store, La Zomba, it would be like because. You can also use the word due to, meaning the online store employed more activities, therefore the sales increase. Okay. For the next one, this is the tiger population in 3 countries. I believe you already have this soft copy. Yeah, I hope you have already printed this out so that afterwards we are going to work on this. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to work through this question step by step, and we will begin with the title. Okay. Right. The title. Okay, I'm going to give you a few titles, and we will just decide, is this the right title? Well, of course, this is not a complete title because the information is only based on figure 1, right? So this is out. All right, next, there's another one. Okay, is this? Now, like I say, it's not correct because it's the placing of the time frame in the middle. Okay, if you place the time frame in the middle, immediately after tiger population in 3 countries, which belong to figure 1, you are saying that there is no time frame in table 1, right? By putting the time frame in the middle, that would not be accurate. Okay, so please be careful, yeah, teachers. Now, the next one. The next example. Yeah? Okay, this one. Again, this is not a complete title because you are only looking at information in table 1, excluding information in table 2, in figure 1. All right. So again, this is not a complete title. Now remember, the title is very important. Yeah, it helps in your overall presentation of your report. Okay, finally, I'm sure you believe that this would the next one would be a correct one. Okay, here, this is the title where you have the time frame is given. Okay, at the back, showing that both the visuals have time frames. Okay, so that's the title. Okay, next will be the introduction. Okay, let me show you an example of an introduction. Okay, this is taken from a sample years ago. Now, do you think this is the right way to write your introduction? Okay, I've seen this in some books. Yeah, I've seen this in some books teaching students how to write the report. Okay, actually, this is wrong. Why wrong? Okay, let me show you. Yeah, okay. Now, you do not have to come up with a general statement like a study was carried out. This is not your essay writing. So you do not need to come up with some kind of lead in to your introduction. Yeah. So this candidate would actually start with figure 1, shows tiger population in 3 different countries in 2000 and 2010. Okay. Now what is wrong with this introduction? It's wrong because it's not in these 2 years. It's actually from 2000 to 2010. So this is a mistake, yeah? And the next thing is look at the word figure 2. It's not figure 2. There is no figure 2. It's table 1, okay? And figure 2 shows actions taken to protect tiger population in the same year. Now, by saying in the same year, the year in singular would imply that you're talking about only 1 year. But that is not the case, right? You have a few years, not just 1 year. So again, this would be a mistake. All right. So I'll show you the actual correct one. Yeah. Okay. The next slide will show you the correct intro. So that will be the correct intro. Where you have figure 1 shows. Okay. Notice that you write in the present tense. Your introduction of the visuals would be in present tense. So you have figure 1 shows tiger population, or you can even say the number of tigers. Yeah, because it's in the visual, in the axis, it says number of tigers. You can actually use number of tigers, but I'm using tiger population here. Yeah, in 3 different countries, you can actually mention the countries in Myanmar, India, and Indonesia. You can do that. Yeah, and it's from 2000 to 2010. It's not in as in just now, and it's table 1. Again, you can always use the word shows, but we would encourage people to use a variety of words so that you get better marks for your language. Okay, so table 1 depicts actions taken to protect tiger population in the same period as in 2000 to 2010. Yeah? Next. You have gone to, okay. Now, the next slide, please. Okay. All right. Now, please don't be afraid. The previous. No, the previous one, please. All right, here. Sorry, teacher. The one before. The one before. The one immediately after. One more. One more with the graphic. No graphic? Oh, here, this one, this one. Oh, yes, disappeared. Can you see the one on tiger with all the graphics? This one. Yeah. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. Now, actually, I'm a very graphic person. So I'm going to show you in the next few slides how we determine the overview of your report. So I'm using the graphic presentations for the strategies taken. Yeah. So I'm just going to superimpose those pictures onto the graph. Okay. We'll go through the graph now. Next. They're quite pretty pictures. Huh? All right. Let's start. All right. So here you're looking at the number of tigers, that will be your subject. And in Myanmar, right, was the highest. So I circle 2015. Sorry, 2000, 250 tigers in the year 2000. Okay. And why? Because there were two activities. For India, you notice that for India, you have a smaller number, 240, because there was only one activity. And for Indonesia, the lowest number, no activities. Okay. Whereas for, why is it so fast? Why is it jumping so fast? Okay, stop there, please. All right. Yeah. So, okay, you see the relationship. Just look at the blue bars only for Myanmar. Yeah. For Myanmar, in the year 2000, it has the highest number of tigers, right? And due to two activities, meaning it had two activities or two strategies. And the number increased to 300 in 2005 because there were more activities or more strategies, meaning three, from two to three. And in 2010, the number of tigers continued to increase to 430. And basically, you would notice that there were four activities. So you can actually see the relationship, meaning the higher number of strategies, the higher number of tigers. Okay, now let's look at India. So India at the beginning, in the year 2000, India had the second highest number of tigers, 240, because India had conducted or carried out one activity or one strategy. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. Now. Okay, you see what happens in 2005. The number of tigers decreased in 2005, correct? 250. Okay, let's look at the number of activities or number of strategies. None. There was no activities in 2000. And you notice the number of tigers dropped. But in 2010, the number of tigers went up again, right? Increased to 200. And you notice that there were two activities compared to 2005. So again, do you see a clear relationship between the number of activities or number of actions taken. Sorry, I keep using the word activities. The actions, the number of actions from 0, yeah, increased to 2. So do you see the relationship? Again, the number of actions actually influence the number of tigers for India. So it's clear. For Myanmar, it was very clear. For India, it's also clear. Okay, next, let's go to Indonesia. Now, Indonesia, at the beginning, it had the lowest number, yeah, 200 as compared to the other countries. And what happened in 2005? The number decreased. And what about the number of actions? 1. Okay, now you're wondering, the number of tigers actually decreased with 1 action. Earlier on in the year 2000, there was no action, 0 action. And with 1 action, the number decreased. Okay? And what happened in 2010? Of course, it's very clear to you. The number decreased further. Correct? And look at the number of actions, still the same action. So now you see that there is no clear relationship between the number of actions and the number of tigers for Indonesia. You saw a very clear relationship between the number of actions and the number of tigers in Myanmar and in India, but not for Indonesia. Okay, therefore, what is your overview? So what is the relationship? Okay. Now, the relationship is actions taken by countries, meaning Myanmar, India and Indonesia, from 2000 to 2010, influenced the tiger population in the countries in the period, correct? Now you observe that I colored the word generally in red. Now you need this adverb, yeah, generally, because you notice that the relationships were very clear for Myanmar and India, but not for Indonesia. So it basically does not apply to all the 3 countries. Therefore, you have to use a word like generally before you start writing your overview. Okay? Without the word generally, it would mean that all 3 countries would show similar relationship, which is not true. Okay. So you can use generally, or instead of using just actions taken, you can use the number of actions. Huh? Okay, let me show you the next slide. Okay, here. Instead of saying just the actions or the type of actions, we are now counting the number of actions. So you can still say, generally, the number of actions taken by the countries from this year and to that year influence the number of tigers in that countries in that period. Okay, so number against number. So this is another way of writing your overview, still using the word generally, or of course you can use the word overall. Yeah, next. Overall is also usable. It has the same meaning. You can also say in general, but that will be 2 words, okay? So remember, for report writing, you have to be very economical. You have to be very frugal with the number of words to use. Yeah? So you can use overall. And now, instead of talking about the actions taken as in the earlier examples, you can actually look at the tiger population. You can start with tiger population in the countries was influenced by the action. So now you have to write in passive voice. So compared to what you did just now, we wrote in active voice, now in passive. So the only difference would be you have more words. Instead of saying influence, the actions influence the number. Now you're talking about tiger population was influenced by. So you have an additional 2 words, that's all. But you are actually free to write either in active or passive voice for your overview. Okay, and your overview is normally in the past tense. Okay, but if you choose to write in the present tense throughout, then you have to be very consistent, yeah, from the introduction right to the conclusion, if you choose to write in the present tense. Okay, but we would encourage you to write your introduction in the present tense, your overview in the past tense, and the rest of your report in the past tense. Yeah. Okay, so that's the overview. Okay, next would be the analysis and synthesis. Okay. I'll show you some examples. Now, a sentence that contains clear analysis would definitely need to contain the correct subject and of course the verb, because it's a sentence, yeah. So you're not supposed to list down a number or a number 1, number 2 like that, because you're supposed to write a continuous prose, yeah. So you need the subject, you need the verb, and of course the trend word, and then plus your data. Remember, your data would be either the number, the percentage, the amount of money, or even those strategies, yeah, or the features. So that would be your data, and the time frame, yeah. Okay, next, let me show you some examples of how you can actually check, yeah, the sentence structure. Okay, right. Next sentence. Let's look at Myanmar's tiger population. Now, you see here, you're looking at tigers, Myanmar's tiger population, that will be your subject. So if you say the number of tigers in Myanmar, that is also the subject, yeah? So this is the subject, and the verb, of course, is in the past tense, was the largest. You can say the biggest, okay? The number, the population is the biggest or the largest, but you can't say highest, right? You can't say, can you say population was the highest? So tiger population was the largest. So the largest is the trend word. And then you need the data. When you say largest, you must give us the data, as in how many. So that would be 250. And the time frame must be clear. And normally we would prefer that you place your data immediately before the time frame. Okay, so that is one example. Okay, the next example, we use the number of tigers. Okay, here. So where's the subject? The number of tigers, that would be your subject. And the verb, I'm sure you already know where the verb is. Yes, was is the verb. And the trend word, of course, I'm sure you got it. Data and time frame. Simple, yeah? Okay, next. Look at this sample. Myanmar was the largest tiger population at 250 in 2000. Do you find anything wrong here? Of course, something is very weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's not supposed to be was. You can't say Myanmar was the largest. Myanmar wasn't the largest. It's the number of tigers. So here you have Myanmar had the largest tiger population, not was the largest population. Okay, so please be careful with the verbs. Yeah. All right. The next one, we have another 1 or 2 more examples. Okay. The next example. Okay. Can you sort of identify the subject very quickly on your own? 20 seconds. Okay. 20 seconds. So the subject. Did you get the subject? All right. Tiger population, that's the subject, or the number of tigers. The verb, do you need a verb? Where's the verb? Okay, that's the verb. And it's actually also the trend word, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the trend word as well as the verb. Okay. And finally, you have the data and the time frame. So again, just you see, very systematically, you need all these elements in your sentence. Okay, the next one. Okay, I hope you have spotted the mistake here. Yeah. So what is the mistake? You can't say the tigers increase. It's not the tigers that increase. It's actually the number of tigers increase. All right. So please don't say the tigers increase. Huh? Okay, what about this one? The tiger population in Myanmar increased, and then you say at 300 in this year, in 2005. Now again, please don't use the word at. When you say increase, it has to be increased to, not increase at. Okay, because if you say increase at, is as though you are saying at a rate of, right? So if you use at only when you're talking about a static point, the highest at or the lowest at, the least number at, yes, but not increase at. All right, so that would be inaccurate. Yeah. All right, the next sentence. Okay, there's another example which is very, very common. This one. You notice the trend word written in passive voice. Was decreased. Please do not write the word decrease or the trend word in passive voice, because if you say was decreased, it's as if the population was deliberately decreased. All right, so please just use the active voice. So the tiger population in India decreased, not was decreased. Yeah. Okay. All right, next, I'll give you a set of trend words. Okay, these are all the trend words. Huh? You have increased, you have decreased, you have remain unchanged. Remember I mentioned just now, you can say unchanged or remain the same, not remain same, because that would be a mistake for language. And if you say remain constant, that would be for a line graph, right? So basically you are using verbs. Okay, you're using verbs and in active voice in the past tense. So that would be your trend words. Now for the word fluctuated, you normally do not need to use the word fluctuated. Yeah? Okay, you don't need to use the word fluctuated because you go from point to point, meaning from year to year or month to month. So you do not need the word fluctuated. Okay. Now the next slide will be the trend words that are adjectives. So just now you were looking at trend words that are verbs. So these are the trend words that are actually adjectives. Yeah. So the whole list. You have highest, biggest. So there are a few there. Highest, lowest, fewer. Okay. So these are some of the trend words that you use. You notice you can use the word more. Remember just now I mentioned to you, right? More, and the word fewer, even number, yeah? Fewer number. You can use the word larger, shorter. If you're talking about size of an area, of course, then you can use the word large. Yeah, the size was large, the size was small. Yeah, even the words only is considered as a trend word. Okay, and the word the same. Now for only, be very careful. I show you this example, yeah, as to why sometimes the word only is actually not a trend word. Okay, let's look at the next slide. Now you look at this one, huh? Only Malaysians will say on the way when they are still at home. Okay, correct. Now, this word only is actually considered as a trend word because it's only Malaysians and no other nationalities. It's only Malaysians. So that is considered as a trend word, yeah? Okay. Now, for the next activity, the next part of this session, we are going to identify the A and the S in some of the examples of sentences. So I'll give you the graph again, the one on tiger population, and we'll look at the statements now. Now, if you look at this graph here for tiger population, only in the year 2000, and you're comparing the three data. Okay, let's look at the statement. Okay, look at this statement. Do you notice any trend words there? How many A's? Or A means analysis. So when you get a trend word, then you have an A there. So how many A's have you detected? All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the answer, of course, I'm sure you all know, it's the highest. So you have an A there. And the least. So you have 2 A's there. There's no link yet. You're just comparing the highest and the least number. Okay, next. Now, let's say you want to analyze this information going through the whole line, the 3 years. Okay, let's read the statement and see whether the candidate has written it correctly. So a few seconds for you to absorb the sentence, the 2 sentences there. So how many A's can you see in these 2 sentences? Okay, let's check. Yeah. So you have A at the word increased, and then you have rose. When you say it rose, okay, teachers, please be careful. When you say it must actually refer to the number of tigers. It must refer to the correct subject. So imagine if you had started the sentence with Myanmar had 250 tigers. And then the next statement you say it rose further. So when you say that, you are saying it refers to Myanmar. You see, that's why you have to be very careful when you write your subject. So here it's the number of tigers that is the subject. Therefore, your second statement, it refers to the number, which is correct. So the number rose, that will be another analysis, rose further. So that's another A. And then to the highest, that's also another A. So you have 3 analyses in 2 sentences, yeah? Okay, the next one. Now, in this next sentence, I'm showing you how you actually write your analysis and synthesis together. So you notice that the words in black would be information taken from the graph. Okay, and the number of actions in blue, the words in blue, would be information taken from the table. And the words in green, possibly because that would be the linker. Okay, so if the candidate writes in 2000, the most number of tigers was found in Myanmar, and you actually link possibly because it took it here as in the country, isn't it? Myanmar, okay? Took the most number of actions. So we see how many A's and S have we got here. So we have one A for the most number, another one A, most number for table, and the synthesis. Okay, teacher, please observe the spelling of punish, poacher severely, and protect habitats of tigers. Remember, I mentioned to you just now that you can actually put inverted commas to the words that you mentioned, okay, the actions taken. Now, when you do that, punish, poacher severely would be one word, and protect the habitat of tigers would also be one word when you count. All right, and please observe, you notice the capitalized P for punish and P as in protect. Now these were actually taken verbatim from the table. So don't change the case. If it's in uppercase, just write in uppercase. So if you write in lowercase, of course, it's okay, but that would be like an error there, yeah, in terms of language. So you can actually give the number of actions as well as to mention the actions taken, because it's possibly no use if you write your whole report using numbers without ever mentioning the actions at all. So in the end, the person reading your report may not know what actions. You only know 2 actions, 3 actions, 4 actions, but what actions were there? So please mention at least 2 or 3 actions, or whatever actions or features or activities in your report. Okay, and you can present them in this way using inverted commas. Single inverted commas here, not double, because double will be dialogue. This is not a dialogue. All right. The next one, using the 2 trend words only and the same. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 examples. Yeah, all right. Next, let's look at the next slide. Okay, here you have 2 examples there. G has only 3 shirts, and only G has 3 shirts, while the others have 2 each. Now, can you actually tell which one has an analysis? Just 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Okay, I think you have got the answer, yeah? For number 1, G has only 3 shirts. It's actually a small number. Only 3 shirts, meaning you don't have many, you only have 3. So that is not analysis. It's just a small number. You only have 3. So by saying you have only 200 tigers, so that is not an analysis. Okay, if you say Indonesia has only 200 tigers, that is not an analysis. Okay, but if you say only G has 3 shirts, and that would be analysis. Okay, because here it means no other, only G and no other. So this is an analysis. So the placing of the word only is very important, yeah, in a sentence. So do not imagine that once you have the word only, oh, you have an analysis, yeah. Okay, the next one will be a clearer example. The next slide. Let's look at the next slide. Okay, I have this 2. He and she had the same number of children at 2 as compared to number 2. He has 2 shirts and he wore these shirts for the meeting, and with the same shirts, he went for jogging. So now between these 2 sentences, which one has an analysis and which one is a description? It's no use writing description because they do not carry any merits. There's no merits, it's just description. Okay. Have you got the answer? You're very sure? Okay, let's check. Okay, you see he has two kids, different kids, different children, they look different, right? Whereas she has two children too, right? A boy and a girl, yeah, but they're all different. You notice that they're all four different kids, so the same number, two each. So that is an analysis. Okay, whereas for he, you're looking at the two shirts. Okay, let's look at the picture. Two shirts, and he's wearing the same shirt. Okay, there's no change, the same shirt. So you only have two shirts. And so this is actually just a description. Okay, so it's just a D. So there is no analysis there. All right, so please be careful with the word only and the word the same. Okay. Now, next, we go back to our tiger population. Now, you can actually apply, use the word only for this visual, for this question, which is in 2000. Okay, let's see the example of the sentence. See? Compare with all the other countries, only Myanmar set up tiger reserves in 2010. Okay, and you notice that this time, I did not put the inverted commas for set up tiger reserves. Why? Simply because this is part of a sentence, yeah, and set up is the verb, so you can't put an inverted comma there. Okay, and for your information, you put inverted commas only to the information given in the table, not in the graph. So don't go and put inverted comma in tiger population in 3 countries and then you put inverted commas. You don't need to do that. Okay, I'm saying that because there are people who actually do that. Just they think that they're going to save the number of words. Okay, now next one, to show you how to use the same, using the same graph. Okay, the next slide. Here. That is in the year 2005, where you can actually compare between 2 countries now. Instead of just tracing the trend of one country, you can now compare between countries. And you notice that there is actually two data there, 150, in which you can actually apply using the word the same. Okay, so you have actually one analysis there. In 2005, India and Indonesia had the same number of tigers. Okay, so that is an analysis. Okay. Next, okay, we are going to look at some so-called errors or things that you should avoid when writing the report. Okay, let's look at the next example. Okay, let's look at the sentence. Okay, 3 seconds to read this. Now, what the candidate has done is basically just listing down the information. Okay, so there were 250 tigers. You have 240 tigers in India and then 200 in Indonesia. This is actually just listing. You don't need to list. So if you list down, it's a waste actually, because there are many words there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 words. 16 words that carry no merit there. So please don't list down the information. We don't need you to list down the information. Okay, the next one. The next example. Okay, yeah. Look at this sentence. Very good. The candidate has started with the year, so the time frame is there. The subject, he said Myanmar. Okay, and then he has given the data, 250 tigers, so the data is there. And the trend words are all there, increased, increased. Okay, but what's wrong? There's no A as in accurate or correct A, because There is no data. You didn't mention the data. So the candidate should say, then the number increased to 300 in 2005 and increased further to 430 in 2010. Okay, so please don't ever forget this element, data. Okay, the next one. It says after writing a few times, a few sentences, some candidates want to take the shortcut and they say, Myanmar increased to 300 tigers. Of course, this is wrong because you can't say Myanmar increase. Myanmar doesn't increase. So this is not an analysis, even though you have the time frame, you have the subject, you have the trend word, you have the data. But this is wrong. Okay? Wrong subject. Right. Okay? Next one. If you look at this sentence, it's like perfectly correct. There were 4 actions taken by the countries to protect the tiger population between these 2 years. Very nice. But what happens is, this is just a description. It's just mere description again, which actually is quite irrelevant. Yeah. You don't need to give us descriptions which are irrelevant. Okay. The next one. The next example. There are actually candidates who actually do this. Maybe because these are people who study maths or something like that. So they sort of do the math, and they say the number of tigers increased by 50 in 2005, and then by 130 in 2010. So they are just looking at the difference. Okay, it's not wrong if you have an earlier sentence that actually tells us the initial starting point. How many at the beginning? If you had 100 at the beginning, then increase by 50 would be 150. That would be quite clear because you have given the initial number. But if you don't have, and you just start off by saying increase by 50, that would be very vague, yeah? Okay, why? Okay, next one. The number of tigers in India increased 200 in 2010 from 150 in 2005. So it's a bit strange when this candidate actually mentioned the later year first and the initial year later. Okay, by right, he should actually go from 2005 to 2010, right, in a chronological order. But it's okay, it's not wrong. But the only problem is here when the candidate says increase 200. And what does that mean? It means an additional 200 from 150 just now, right? So the number is 150 in 2005, and then you say increase 200. That would mean 150 plus 200 because you say increase 200. So the data would now be 350. And so that makes the data inaccurate. Okay? Okay, next one. Now this candidate spotted, he noticed the word in only. Yeah, he noticed that he could actually use the word only. So he started by saying, only Indonesia did not punish poachers severely in the period because, now he started saying, because they did not have enough wildlife rangers to catch the poachers. Now what's wrong? Did we actually get any information regarding wildlife rangers in the question? We didn't, did we? So this is actually called assumption. Candidates are not required or not even allowed to bring in assumptions. So the whole idea is, the rule of thumb is, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you give. So whatever you don't see, you shouldn't give. So like this one, assuming that the number would have, what do you call that? They did not have enough wildlife ranges. That's why they couldn't punish the what do you call that? The poachers would be making assumptions. Okay, so you would be considered as wrong. And once you put in assumptions, it would be inaccurate. So when you're inaccurate, of course, it would affect your grades. Yeah. Okay. So please don't put in any assumptions. Do not use words like popular, very interesting. Okay. The actions were very appropriate, very suitable. So these are the words that you do not need to put in, because these are the words that have never been given. Yeah? If they are given, yes. But these are not given, so please don't use any words that are not required, and don't make any assumptions. Huh? Okay, next. Okay, you look at the next slide. Yeah. So what happened just now? I said just now, when you make assumptions, the only analysis you got just now using only will be null and void. Yeah, so it will not be accepted. Okay, now remember I told you that it would be good for you to actually mention some of the information given in the table for your report to make it complete. So this candidate has actually written with a mention. He said, Myanmar took the most number of actions within bracket. You notice that you can actually use brackets, yeah, to put the number in 2010, such as set up tiger reserves and educate public. Now, what's wrong with this? Why is it wrong? Because he mentioned 4 actions, but he gave only 2. But still, he used the word such as. Okay, when you use such as, you are saying that these are some of the examples. They may be more, they may be like more than 6 or more than 4 or more than 5. Okay, so mentioning 2 out of 4, even without the word such as, is considered as inaccurate. Yeah. Okay. The next example. Now this candidate has mentioned all. He said 4 and he mentioned all. And he has actually used the inverted commas correctly for all the 4 strategies or 4 actions taken. But again, the problem is using the conjunction, the linking word such as. If you use such as, again, it would actually imply that there are others other than the 4 that you have given. Okay, so this would be considered as wrong. Okay, now we are coming towards the end. Yeah? This is the conclusion. So the conclusion has to be logical. So after what you have done, your analysis, your synthesis, and your overview, yeah, and you have proven your overview to be true, so you need to conclude, and you can say in conclusion, the tiger population in the 3 countries generally depended on the number of actions taken. Correct. Now, you can actually repeat the overview in your conclusion. It's acceptable. Yeah. Now, sometimes candidates may forget to write the overview in the first paragraph. And then suddenly they realize that they forgot, they put it in the conclusion. All right, so this is considered as the overview as well. But I hope you would not do this. I hope you would actually place the overview in the right place and the conclusion in the right place. And your conclusion and your overview may be in a different wording. Yeah, you can reword your conclusion so that it's not exactly the same. The only problem is if your overview is wrong, and if you repeat it in your conclusion, of course your conclusion is also wrong, right? So there are a lot of risks here, yeah. But anyway, please come up with a logical conclusion, and the number of words up to the conclusion has to be within 200 words. Please do not go beyond 200, not even 201. Okay, if it's 201, and if the full stop stops at the word actions, or stops at maybe the word then your conclusion will not be complete, right? And your whole report will not be complete, yeah? So please be careful. Please be very mindful about the number of words. In fact, if you really count the number of sentences for a report, you can hardly write more than 10 sentences, and it's already 195, 96 words, yeah? So you have to be very economical, yeah? All right. So let me show you again the word count in the next slide. Now, figure 1, table 1 will be one word. But if you write, I think some of us like to do that. In the year 2010, maybe it's influence from Bahasa Melayu, pada tahun something something. So you have you would write in full. Some of us would write in full in the year 2010, and that is actually forwards. So this would be a waste, writing forwards. For in 2010, that will be 2 words. Okay, the next one. If you write protect the habitat of tigers, and if you write this in your sentence as part of the verb, and then you say Myanmar protected the habitat of tigers, so this will be counted as 5 words. Yeah, basically, you can of course change the word protect to protected, so that it's in the past tense. Yeah, it's not wrong to change the tense of the information given in the table. But again, like you say, this is going to be 5 words. Okay. The next one will be if you put inverted commas, that will be voila, 1 word. So please be careful, yeah. And remember, the uppercase protect, it's in uppercase given in the table, so just follow it. All right. So we have actually come to the end already. So the next stage is for you to do your work. Okay. Now you have your report with you. You have your template with you. Okay. So probably we give you a few minutes to look at your template. If you have printed it out, would be very good. So maybe you give you some time to just fill out the blanks, the gaps, with some of the words that we have learned. You have the words in green. The line in green would be your linkers, yeah, and the rest would be your analysis. Okay, and in blue would be for synthesis. Okay, so would you like to try? Maybe just a few minutes. I think you can do this in a jiffy. Okay. A jiffy means like 30 seconds. You have to refer to your the tiger population and actions taken visuals. Yeah, otherwise it would be difficult for you to do this. I've actually given a sample in the I think the handout given by Dr. Yusnita to you in your email, but that is actually different. Huh? It's not exactly the same as this one. So forget about that one. That's just another example. Are people ready to show their, want to know the answers? Anyone responded? No one is chatting? Any response? Huh? Oh. Huh. Yeah, I know. They say I need a new laptop. No response yet? Are they okay? Yeah, let's. Yeah, never mind. Show the first one. Can you hear me clearly? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, teachers. I think you have all been waiting for the answers. I think you have already got all your answers in for the first paragraph. Yeah. Okay. So figure 1 shows, or of course, this is just one example. You can of course say illustrates. Some people would like to use words like demonstrates, displays. Yeah. So I would teach my students to use the simple word shows. Figure 1 shows in the present tense. Shows tiger population in Myanmar, India, and Indonesia. Like I say, you can actually say in 3 countries instead of mentioning the 3 countries in these 3 years. While table 1, next, okay, depicts the actions taken by these countries to protect tiger population in the same what? Years. Because there are many years there, right? The 3 years, so same years. So if at all it's written in the singular noun, then that would be a mistake, language mistake. Okay. So in order to write the overview, oh sorry, just now I did not mention this. The blue is actually the overview, so you need the adverb there. So generally, so you can use either generally or in general, or you can say overall, the number of actions taken in these years, meaning the 3 years. And so what is the word that you use? Did you use the word influenced the tiger population in these 3 countries? Okay, if you did, then it's fine. Some of you may ask whether you can say affected. You may You can say the number of actions taken affected the tiger population. You can say influenced. You can say corresponded with. Yeah, corresponded with the tiger population. You can also say correlated with. Yeah, correlated with the tiger population. Okay, so this would be correct. Yeah, so influence, affected, corresponded with, correlated with. Okay, some even use was related to. Yeah? But so far we would actually go for the word influence because it's just one word. Yeah, and in fact for students, for my students, it's easier to remember. Yeah. Now it can be, you can actually write it the other way around, beginning with the tiger population first. So if you say the tiger population in these countries would be, then you would say was influenced by the number of actions. So that would be in passive voice. But because I've already given you the template and I have actually forced you to write in active voice. Huh? Okay, so we are done with paragraph 1. Let's go to paragraph 2. So that's the body of the paragraph in which you need to analyze and synthesize thoroughly. Yeah? Okay, let's look at the next one. So this will be part of your paragraph, body paragraph. Yeah. Okay, which is paragraph 2. Okay, please try. Yeah. Remember the lines in red would be the trend words, and blue, is it blue or green? I think my eyes are blurry. Green, I think, yeah, that would be the linkers. The words for the synthesis. Huh? So you have analysis, red, and green, synthesis, which means the linkers. Cannot. I need some water. Thank you. Excuse me, I need some water. Cold? No. So I think the teachers are ready, yeah, for the answers. Okay, let's look at the trend words. So the tiger, Myanmar's tiger population was the excuse me, was the highest, was the biggest, was the largest. It's superlative, not comparative. Among the countries, and what is the linker? So the linker would be because. Okay, so because Myanmar took the what? The is of course the indication of a superlative, yeah? The most actions. Please don't, I mean, some candidates will say highest, lowest for anything, yeah? For them, highest number, highest percentage, and then they say highest action. So that would be wrong because you can't say actions are high or highest or higher, yeah? So the only word that is acceptable will be the most actions or the most number of actions. And when you say the most actions without the word number of, is still correct because it's considered as number here because you're counting. So you have the most number, meaning you have 2 there for that particular year only. Yeah? It's only for the year 2000. So mention, punish poacher severely and protect tiger habitats mentioned. Whereas India's tiger population was smaller. Now it's not superlative because it's comparative. It's smaller at 240. So what is the linker will be as. Of course, you can still repeat because, but like I say again, we want variety. So using as will do. India took only one action. Remember the word only one action, that is not an analysis. It's just a small number. Okay, next one, the number of tigers in Indonesia was the lowest, so superlative again at 200. And you notice that this is actually in the year 2000, at the beginning is mentioned. So because we have written everything in the same paragraph, the years can be referred to. We can actually refer to the year at the beginning there, so it's fine. But if you want to mention this again, it's also good. So the number of tigers in Indonesia was the lowest at 200 in 2000 because of no action. Okay, now using because of is correct because no action is a phrase. But some candidates will say because no action. So if it's written as because no action, then of course we would be penalized for wrong language. Okay, the next one is in 2005. So you notice that I have not written this in a new paragraph. Okay, it's in the same paragraph and the following year. And this is not wrong, yeah? You can continue writing in the same paragraph in 205 due to one action. So the answer is one more action. Okay, and what is that one more action? Educate public. So more as in a trend word because you have one more. So the tiger population rose. So instead of increase, you say rose, you say height, you say jumped to 300. Okay, this number, when you say this number, what number? This number means 300. Okay, increase further to 430. So besides increase, you notice all the words, the trend words must be in the past tense. Okay, move further to 430 in 210. Now, I often notice candidates writing continue to increase. But if it is not a line graph, you don't really need to say continue, yeah? So I mean, it's just style. Yeah. If you don't need to write extra words, you don't need to. Yeah. All right. So this one, the number increased further to 430 in 2010. So you notice again, you have the data followed by the year. Yeah, clear. Yeah. Data followed by the year. And again, you can use another linker because Myanmar set up tiger reserves. And here, I did not put the inverted comma for set up tiger reserves simply because this is part of the sentence. Okay, the next part of this paragraph. So, however, of course, it's also important when you use a connector like a however, because this is a different trend in India. Since there is a different trend, it's good to use a proper signal. Yeah. So, however, tiger population in India, what happened? The answer is decrease, isn't it? It's, the tiger, the number fell. So fell is also usable. Yeah? You can use this word. So tiger population fell. Just now we had a lot of increase. That's why you need to use the signal, however, to show a change, yeah, of trend. So the tiger population in India fell to 150 in 2005 because no action was taken. Right? Not because of no action was taken. It's because no action was taken. But the number, what happened? The number, of course, climbed or increased or rose or hiked to 200. And what is the linker? Again, because the number of actions increased to 2. Yeah? From 0 to 2, that's an increase. Yeah? Okay, again, however, Indonesia's tiger population fell, isn't it? Yeah, or slipped to 150. Although, now you see, although Indonesia had educate public in 205. So that is another linker. And what happened to the number? When you say the number, it means 150 in Indonesia. Yeah. So every time you say the number, it has to refer to the number before you. So it has to be clear. Your subject has to be clear. So the number increased to 110 in 2010 with what? The same action. Okay, the same type of action, isn't it? It's not the same number now, it's the same type of action. So again, this will be an analysis, acceptable analysis. Yeah. Okay, so we're done. Let's look at the conclusion. Just one word in a jiffy. Anyone wants to shout out the answers? Or maybe just type out your answers? Okay. So the answer will be the number of actions taken. Determine the tiger population. Okay, so all right, the number of actions determine the tiger population. So, okay, we have completed this report. So if you can count the number of words, you would know that this is about 200. Yeah, it's not more than 200 for sure. So maybe is there a Q&A session? Maybe if there are any doubts, teachers, if you have any doubts, if you would like to ask, and if I can answer you, I would. Okay, and if I can't, then I won't. Okay. Yes. Anyone? Okay. Nobody responded. I can't read any comments. Tak ada.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Mok. So wow, a lot of knowledge, and yeah, sure, it's like great. We get a lot of information, knowledge, and yeah, Madam Mok always says that she really wants us to score. She really wants us to pass with flying colors. Okay. Thank you very much for wow, that's great sharing from Madam, and I believe it is going to be a great help. All right, for the viewers out there. Now let us listen to Tuan Haji Samsul Amir. I'm pretty sure that he has something to give to us. All right. Okay, to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yus. Everyone, can you listen me fine? Okay. Okay, I think Madam Mok has went through a lot. Okay, how to write, how to comment. I just have a few things to say during my teaching days. These are the simple and very fast way for report writing, because there are only 4 words that you need to remember. Okay, during my teaching days, I told my students only these 4 words that if you use, you will remember and you can write very good report writing essay. The first word will be focus. Okay, you have to focus on the question actually. You have to understand what is the demand of the question. Okay, like Madam Mok have told you, be careful about the duration given there or the time period given there. Okay, you have different duration in graphic 1 and different one in graphic 2. There is more specific duration. So those are the items or elements that you have to be focused on. Okay, and the second word that you have to remember is to digest. Okay, whatever information given to you in those graphic, you have to totally understand, digest them properly, know what they are talking about. Especially when we come to numbers, you have to be careful with numbers, like indicated by Madam Mok just now. Although the numbers is around 300, 400, actually is 300,000, 400,000. So when you look, when you want to look at the item or the element there, the legends play most important thing. You know what is the legend? The X and Y. Okay, axis. The legend stated there is the proper item that you have to describe or write in your report. So be careful. Never take for granted one glance says everything. Usually, we have problem with students that only look once and they understand everything. No, you have to digest it properly. Look at the legends, look at the graphic properly. Okay, whether it's telling you what you want to see. Okay, so be careful, and especially when you look at the graphic, you have to do drafting actually. The second part, the third part is planning. There is drafting. Please do some jotting down in your question paper, because that is how you draft. Okay, don't leave your question paper blank, clean, in a clean slate. No, you can write on your question paper. Do your draft there. So you are planning your essay well. You know what you're going to write about. Okay, make sure that you use the suitable words in your trend words. Okay, suitable words. Some of you are lack of vocab. I know something. Although you are English teacher, when it comes to stress and very constrained to time, you are lack of vocab. So think clearly, my friends. Think clearly. Use the correct tenses, okay, to relate your report with. Okay. Next, when you plan, just give what you see. Like Madam Mok has told you, okay, just give what you have seen, not your own opinion. Because when you give your own opinion, it becomes assumption. There will be no marks there. Okay, don't write that based on your own experience, because we have some candidates that write based on their own experience, based on their own number of days that they know, right? For example, you use 24/7. That is what you learn in using internet, for example. Those are the things that you come up with. No, don't come up with ideas. Don't come up with opinion. Just write what you can see. Okay, just write what you can see. Those are the most important thing. And when you write down, make sure you have that two elements. There is analysis and synthesis. Those are the most important aspect in report writing. Okay. And then next, when you look at the graphic, okay, look at the graphic, study the tables carefully. Determine the correct choice of words you're going to use to describe the table. Okay, either the words, the tenses, or your linkers, especially when you're going to describe the table, and then relate them. Remember, those two things. Analysis is based on data. Synthesis is how you relate both graphic, both data in graphic 1, in graphic 2. Okay, that is called the link. Okay, those are the important element. These two will make sure you get the proper marks that you deserve. Okay, and lastly, when you write, please write according to the allocated words. 200 words, right, Madam Mok? 200 words, right? 200 words. Not more than that, because if you write 350, 400, it's no point. Because the examiner will look only until 200 words and will cross out the rest. Okay, will cross out the rest. So no point of writing too long. So make sure you write according to your plan. Okay, give the proper information needed in your report according what just now we have given you just now. Okay, very specific how to write a report writing. Okay, those are the most important items that you remember. You must remember. Okay, so I will repeat myself again. First, focus. Next, please digest the information in graphics. Next, plan your writing well. Okay, what you have to do in the introduction paragraph, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, your conclusion. Okay, please plan properly. And remember, please write simple sentences, subject, verb, trend words, the data, and the timeline. That's all. We do not need anything else beside than that. Okay, just simple word describing what you have given there. Okay, and next, make sure you have these two elements. That is the analysis and the synthesis. Without this, there will be no point okay, in your writing. That's why you cannot connect the graphic well, okay? Understand that. Okay, I think we have got for the past 2 hours, a lot were given by Madam Mok. So she was my colleague there during my teaching days, and still my good friend here. Okay, okay, my good friend here. She is the best for me throughout my experience in writing with MUET. She is the best. Okay, best reference for CEFR. Okay, so anything else you can contact Dr. Yus. Okay, both of us are willing to help you. Okay, anytime, anywhere, and just make sure you keep in contact. Thank you very much to all of you, and thank you, Dr. Yus, for inviting me.
All right. Well, we have like a lot of knowledge now. It's like a lot of terms that we learned today, and for those who like this is something new, we have great facilitators and speakers and guests. Wow, this is very good. Actually, very full of information and knowledge we get from today's session. So thank you very much to Madam Mok Mee Yoke and Tuan Haji Samsul Amir Ismail for their time and commitment in making this program a success. And dear viewers, finally on behalf of Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kuala Terengganu, may I thank you for your participation. And I understand that some of you are not even from Terengganu. I could see that participation from other states. Thank you very much for being with us, and no worries about missing the earlier part. You can always come back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe because there will be more sharing after this. Okay, I hope you enjoy the session, and I look forward to your participation in future sharing sessions. So till we meet again, thank you and stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.